connected light for the potato clip for the week.
I want to take a look at 2 Timothy chapter 2 today, and we're going to start in verse 3. Paul tells Timothy to share in the sufferings as a good soldier of Christ Jesus. No soldier gets entangled in civilian pursuits, since his aim is to please the one who enlisted him. Now, I know that Paul says a lot of things to Timothy that are pretty unique to Timothy and his relationship and the things that Timothy does, but this seems to be something that is just common for all Christians. We usually talk about verses 5 and 6 a little bit more than verses 3 and 4, or at least I do. And it's because he talks about being an athlete and being a farmer. Not that I'm an athlete or a farmer, but I've at least tried both of those a little bit. I understand them a little bit better than I understand being a soldier. But what he says in verse 4 really hits home. No soldier gets entangled in civilian pursuits. I don't know if it's easy to examine ourselves in this, but it seems important. Are you getting entangled in civilian pursuits right now instead of being focused on the one that has enlisted you into his army as a good soldier of Jesus Christ? That's a really tough question. That might be a loaded question, but it's very important for us to think about. I'll tell you a couple of things that I think will be helpful. And maybe these are just things that will help us examine. The first thing is that we should know that what God has called us from, what he has enlisted us and recruited us into, is something so much more grand and wonderful, more noble. We're part of his kingdom. He's allowing us to be part of this warfare, the spiritual warfare, and to be a soldier of his, be considered part of the army of God. That's just so wonderful. However, we do let ourselves get distracted sometimes by the things of this world. Maybe our focus gets away from the kingdom we're part of, and we start thinking about the kingdom that we're in right now. I think the second thing that will be helpful for us is we really need to look at our relationships with our fellow Christians. Maybe one of the hardest things to do is to realize that we're not being good fellow soldiers with each other. Maybe we're letting the civilian pursuits get in our way and separate us from each other right now, and that just shouldn't be the case. Just to be frank, the two things that come to my mind are politics and football teams, or sports in general. We let those things separate. We let them separate us from many Christians, and so we find solace in the people we work with, and we talk about our Christian brothers and sisters in ways that we shouldn't. Or maybe within our church family, we have our group that is all on the same page with this one thing, this one ideology, or this one hobby, this one interest. And we just leave the other people that are still part of the same church over there off to the side. How can we say we're good soldiers with each other? How can we say we're not letting civilian pursuits get in our way? This isn't meant to be an indictment on all of us or say we're all doing a bad job. This is just meant to be a little bit of a checkup. Just to ask ourselves the questions. Am I being a good soldier of Jesus? Am I having the back of my fellow soldier like I need to? Am I letting civilian pursuits, things that are lesser, get in the way and take priority in my life? Let's be focused on the kingdom we're part of, the service that God has enlisted us to, and let's have each other's backs. Let's be good fellow soldiers with each other. We have a spiritual warfare we're fighting. It's very important, more important than anything in this life that might draw us away.